Hello and welcome to the Federal. 2 years back, in August 2022, Ghulam Nabi Azad quit the Congress party. He had a nearly 5 decade long run in the Congress. He was counted as among the more influential Congress leaders, had several terms in the Rajya Sabha, had the rare distinction of being perhaps the only Congress General Secretary who had served as the party's in charge for every single state of the country. And when he quit the Congress, of course, as is the routine in such developments, he leveled various allegations against the then and current leadership of the Congress party, the Nehru Gandhi family, particularly against Rahul. And subsequently, he went on to announce his own political party. The In the initial days, it was called the Democratic Azad Party. The Election Commission did not give him that name for his party, and so subsequently the name was sort of revised, changed to Democratic Progressive Azad Party, DPAP. And there were various expectations from Mr. Azad. A lot of people who supported him, several people from the Congress in Jammu and Kashmir, many from the PDP, a few from the National Conference, quit their respective parties and joined Mr. Azad's party. The general anticipation was that he would emerge as a strong force. He had a fairly non-controversial tenure as chief minister of the state for 3 years. He'd been he's counted among the senior most leaders from Kashmir, from J&K. And so there was a general anticipation that whenever J&K goes into polls, whenever there are elections restored in Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. Azad might emerge as a very viable alternative to the entrenched parties of J&K, the Congress, the National Conference, the PDP. And then, of course, his critics said that he was going to be just another proxy of the BJP, which is going to eventually ally with the BJP to help the BJP come back to power. The allegations, counter allegations aside, now that Jammu and Kashmir is going to polls, we've just come out of the Lok Sabha poll campaign. Now, in a fortnight's time, the first phase of elections for J&K will happen. It's been a long due assembly election. And interestingly, Mr. Azad is missing from the scene. He did not contest the Lok Sabha elections. He announced his candidature from Anantnag, Rajouri, and then withdrew from the race. People thought he might contest the assembly elections. He's not contesting the assembly elections, and there have been a series of flip-flops. He declared candidates, about a dozen candidates from his party, and then he said that due to his ill health, he will not be able to campaign, and perhaps for the first time in electoral history, he even appealed to those candidates that had been announced that I will not be able to campaign for you. If you want to withdraw from the candidature, from the election, you're free to withdraw. Then yesterday, his party spokesman said that no, Mr. Azad is going to campaign, but he will campaign only in select constituencies, and for the first phase, he'll campaign only towards the fag end. I have with me Mr. Anil Anand, a very senior journalist. He is from Jammu. He understands the nuances of J&K politics. He knows Mr. Azad very well and Mr. Azad's politics. We'll discuss with Mr. Anil Anand what are the current scenarios, political scenarios that are playing out vis-a-vis Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad. What is this great political arch of his career, and whether Mr. Azad now, at 75 years of age, having rebelled against the Congress, formed his own party, is perhaps staring into oblivion, political obscurity. Welcome, Anilji. Let
Thank
me
you.
start with a very simple, basic question on how you see Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad's, this remarkable political journey of 5 decades, and uh, almost seems like it's going to end in a whimper. How do you view it?
Let me interpret in terms of Bollywood terms. It's a script. In Bollywood, the script of a film, usually the emotions come after the interval or at the end. So this is such a script which starts with emotions, which started with trickling of tears. You must be remembering the Rajya Sabha scenario,
Yes.
where a very, very hardened politician like Narendra Modi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, how he shed tears and how Azad Saab responded with the tears. So that was an emotional scenario which reflected their friendship or which reflected their relationship. So it started with emotions, and then he went left the Congress. He knew that his survival in Congress was difficult now because Mr. Rahul Gandhi was not favorably disposed towards him, which he confided in me in one of the meetings in Jammu, that his only ire was against Rahul Gandhi and not Congress. So that he was clear that in the coming dispensations he will get no space, no place. So somehow, as the allegations are, there were understandings with the powers be in Delhi to float a forum to cause a split in the Congress. So some thinking must have gone into it after those tear jerkers. So naturally, he ended up floating a political party, as you reflected in your intro. So political party was formed, but it's a quirk of fate that how the party was formed, how he moved on to occupy a space in JNK where he has a very honorable place in the society, and he's always been looked at as a credible journalist. So when he came there, there was enthusiasm among the people because there was a political void in Jammu and Kashmir. People had seen national conference, people had seen PDP, people have even seen 10 years of BJP, how it reflected in Jammu region, which voted for the BJP 7 or 8 times, right from Panchayat to Lok Sabha elections. So when he came to Jammu, when the news came that he's coming to Jammu and he's going to float a new political party, there was a whiff of hope. There was a whiff of fresh air, and people thought a new third force will emerge. And it was a common feeling in both in Jammu and Kashmir. Though the political views are diverse in both the regions, but on Azad there was a commonality of views that he could emerge as a third force. But unfortunately, what happened subsequently, only Mr. Azad would know the reasons why it happened and how it happened. We only can analyze it. Uh, he somewhere in the on the route lost his credibility. Somewhere he didn't take a clear political stand, which people were expecting from a third independent force or a leader to take and to spell out his agenda. He didn't do that. In fact, we are a political society. Particularly JNK is very politically alive. You come from Madhya Pradesh, you know. When you have to talk of elections, you have to talk of a political party. You will have to give a political narrative to people. He refused to give a political narrative to people. So then he said, "I'll not criticize any political party." That included BJP. Then the doubts grew. Why is he not doing that? Why is he not taking a clear stand on the policies of the central government vis-a-vis JNK? Except for the fact he spoke on Article 370. He said, I delivered a long speech in Rajya Sabha on 370. I was the only leader who opposed 370, a partial abrogation of 370. He said nothing else. People were expecting more from him. So what happened gradually? People started losing trust in him. They started seeing something, a diabolical plan, which is being played at the behest of the powers be in Delhi. So they thought it better that if we are going to support him against the BJP, so why a proxy? So that diminished people's confidence in him.
Anilji, there are various, you can call them speculations, you can call them, mocking Mr. Azad, or n number of things. People say how he did all of this to just retain his bungalow in Luton's Delhi. You said how he had his angst was particularly against Rahul and his own position within the party after Rahul's ascension in the Congress. Is this, I mean, when he decided to leave the Congress, would you say he made the mistake of, as you pointed out, it started with a lot of emotion. He did not think it through on how he is going to, make his next political moves. Was it, for someone as senior, a politician who's been around for so long, was it just as simple as an emotional outburst against Rahul Gandhi? Oh, he doesn't treat me properly, so I don't want to stay in the party. And he walked out and he announced his political party without actually a roadmap. Is that really the case?
Partially, yes. But Puneet, I can tell you on the hindsight, Mr. Azad acted very mysteriously all through this, right from forming the G23 group, later on to form
Yeah.
a well, his first plan was to float a national party. If the G23 had stood solidly with him, he might have tried to float a national forum rather than going to JNK and forming a regional party, which ultimately became his compulsion to remain relevant in the politics. So, problem is he was very mysterious. Why I'm saying this is at least three members of the G23 gang, I will call, who later on met somewhere or interacting. I was interacting with them. One question separately, I was speaking to them. One question which was a common this thing thread, and which they asked me, what is he up to? So my answer was, you are part of his team. He must have discussed with you, and you must be knowing what he is up to. Why are you asking me? Well, he said, no, you are a journalist. You know him. You are from JNK. You are JNK affairs. You are, know very well. You must be knowing. I said, if he hasn't shared it with you, he will not share it with me. So problem is he was very mysterious about his agenda. And as you said, the Bangalore. See, I don't know whether it was one of his expectations or not, but granting lease of Latens bungalow for 3 years, as against 6 months to Anand Sharma, it created doubts in the public mind. It became a chorus in the public in JNK also. So people, that is why all these factors added to creating doubts in the public mind, whether he is a proxy of the powers that be in Delhi, precisely BJP or the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So these factors created a doubt. So this mystery continued in JNK also. First of all, he took quite a lot of time to form the political party. He hid behind the election commission's delay. Then there was no flag. He didn't share. I used to ask his colleagues in the party. Some friends had also joined him. I asked him. They said, "कुछ पता ही नहीं है." Then he was mysterious about the symbol also. He was perhaps a feeling when that is buying time. I don't know for what. Yet feeling bent even among his own colleagues that he is buying time. So that created this mysterious situation created uncertainty also in the minds of his colleagues also who had joined DPAP, and subsequently, ultimately, one by one they started leaving the party. And final blow came, as you said in your intro, elections. I have seen political leaders coming out of, you know it very well, coming out of retirement and hibernation to contest elections. This is for the
Yes.
first time I'm seeing, and such a senior leader and such a, veteran of the Congress who's well versed with the machinations and manipulations of politics, Congress style, who he simply one fine morning he says, I'm good. Okay, he must be having an health reasons. He had a chest pain, which is a standard excuse in Indian politics. Came here, he went to AIMS. He was given a clean sheet by AIMS. They said, okay, कुछ बात नहीं, अब रेस्ट करिए. आपको कैंपेन नहीं करनी है, वो भी हो गया सारा, बिल्कुल हो गया. आप रेस्ट करिए. तो ये this created more mystery in JNK. But why on the eve of election? Normally politicians don't leave their ground. Win or lose, some political friends used to tell me, they still tell me, all elections are not fought for winning. Some elections are fought for other reasons also. I don't know what was the reason. Health reason could be one. I give benefit of doubt to Azad Saab. He's a better judge. But this is not political bravado. This is meekness, political meekness, I will call it. And it has not harmed him. It has harmed him politically. Maybe what career, I don't know how long his career would be now and what he is hoping to do now. It has certainly spoiled his reputation in Jammu and Kashmir, even elsewhere also, more in Jammu and Kashmir. It certainly has put his colleague in a very tight spot, particularly those who are in the midst of elections. So all this has given a bad name to Mr. Azad. As you said, he was a very credible face in J&K. He had a very good tenure as chief minister. He was non-controversial. There were no corruption charges against him. All said and done, this mystery has created a lot of trouble for Mr. Azad.
Anilji, as you said, as chief minister of J&K, although he was chief minister for 3 years, a little less than 3 years, he had a fairly good run as chief minister. He
Yes,
presided over a stable government, a coalition government, but a stable one. Barring, the Amarnath Rao that happened towards the fag end of his tenure, he had a non-controversial tenure. He was seen as somebody who was pro-development while being alive to the issues of Kashmir, which are not very easy to handle politically. He understood the Jammu region as well, and he was someone who could, act as a bridge between both Jammu and Kashmir, both the regions of the state. For him to go down this path politically now, uh, and a situation where uh, a lot of the people who had joined his party uh, are back in their respective parties, that they had quit. Uh, when Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra came to Kashmir, we saw over 2 dozen, leaders who'd moved to Mr. Azad's party, return to the Congress. Some who had quit the PDP or the National Conference and joined Mr. Azad's party also came to the Congress party. And, all these developments is Mr. Azad's, his leaving the party, Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. What has this, all of this, what has been its impact on the Congress in J&K? Because when you're talking about Mr. Azad, even now that he's not a member of the Congress, you can't talk about him without speaking about the Congress party, right?
yeah. See, it was a big setback for Congress. May not be at national level, but it was a big setback for Congress in Jammu and Kashmir. The reason was he was the tallest leader. The reason was he was a uniting force between Jammu and Kashmir regions. As it is, Congress has bare minimum existence in Congress. All it has surrendered its space to either National Conference or PDP. But still, he had the potential to create certain new pockets or to strengthen the existing pockets. Admittedly, it was a big setback for the Congress, and which Congress for quite some time found it difficult to recover. Even now, had Ghulam Nabi been there, the face of Congress in election would have been different. The outcome would have been different. So Congress could not bear this loss. It has not been able to compensate this loss even till now. So problem with there is a problem in that. Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, like any other politician, now in BJP also, they were self-centered. He was self-centered. His political strategy was not to allow any new leader come up. Just decimate the older ones. Don't allow anyone to come up near him. They should be under him, and then proceed. As a result, when Mr. Azad suddenly left, JNK was left leaderless. There was no second, third, fourth rung of leadership, which Mr. Azad strategically did not allow to flourish. He saw to it that Mufti Muhammad Saeed goes out of the party. He saw to it earlier stalwart from Jammu. You must not be knowing Pandit Trilochan Das, a big leader
Yes.
in Jammu region. He leaves in 77. And after that, he again came back in 77. He joined Janata Party. But in frustration, he drove them out, barring one or two old leaders who could survive because of their own strength. So this model, it reflected very badly on after the exit of Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, because there was no one to replace him. So now, even now, the Congress is struggling to find a leader. Whosoever is there, two, three names you must have heard.
Yes.
Ghulam Ahmad Mir, and the new
Yeah.
president
Tariq
Tariq
Amir
Tariq.
Karra.
He's a newcomer to
Yeah.
Congress, and he has
Yes.
not
He
much
came from the
political
PDP.
background.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
came from the PDP. Before that, he has a political background. His uncle Mohiddin Kara Sahab was a big leader in Kashmir, वो plebiscite front और दूसरा बाद में
Yeah.
he came to
Yeah.
Janata Party also in 1977. So he's not a mass leader. He's not the one who could have replaced Ghulam Nabi Azad. So his exit has really hit Congress very hard. Congress is fighting for his survival. Congress has no leaders, and biggest point is he did not allow second, third, or fourth line of leadership to emerge for only his own existence, his own survival. That is why he used to tell his so-called high command here also, it's either me or no one there. So first he was very close to Rajiv Gandhi. He was able to
Right.
decimate with Mufti Said Saab shared with me. Due to his proximity with Rajiv, he was able to decimate Mufti Saab, and he had to leave Congress in a half. So it has hurt the Congress very hard. Whatever be the reasons, whosoever is to be blamed for it, but it has hit Congress very hard, and Congress may not be able to recover for another decade or so unless until they take very emergency steps. They allow new leadership to flourish. They encourage credible faces to join Congress, which is not happening at this juncture.
Now, his political party, as I mentioned earlier, there have been a series of flip flops. He's announced just about a dozen candidates, although Salman Nizami, his party spokesperson, yesterday said that they'll be announcing a few more before the second and the third phase of polling. Uh, but out of those dozen odd candidates that were announced, four have already withdrawn after Mr. Azad said that he's not going to campaign. Then yesterday, there was this statement that he will campaign, but he will campaign only in selected constituencies because of his poor health. We don't know what situation most of his candidates would find themselves in when the actual election takes place. What is the future of his political party in your view? Do you think that his party is still in a position to hold its ground, make some dent in some areas, maybe the Chenab Valley that he comes from? Is it possible? Is there any, sort of straw that Mr. Azad can still cling on to for hope?
My one-liner rejoinder is the present is bleak. I'm sorry. The present is murky. The future is bleak. That is my one-liner reply to your. Now I'll explain. You said yes. Nizami said he'll come and campaign during the last phases of last days of first phase. Elections are. You know it very well. You have a political background. You know it very well. Elections can't be fought only on the last day. Howsoever big leader you are, you have already done a damage by withdrawing from the scene, whatever be the reasons. There could have been better ways to withdraw also, even if there were health reasons. But withdrawing in a huff and then suddenly then issuing a statement that I will not be able to campaign. Whoever wants to withdraw can withdraw. This statement and withdrawing in a half has already done considerable damage. This damage cannot be undone by his last minute forays, by his last minute campaigns in one or two or three constituencies. Maybe one or two of his close aides who are former ministers in Congress with him, they are contested, they are still in the fray, they have not withdrawn. Though there are other reasons for that. They have a family issues on that, they have families citadel there which they don't want to leave. They are in the fray for other reasons. He may come and campaign for him just to give a solace to them. But the irreparable damage, Puneet, has been done to the cause of Mr. Azad politically in JNK. I don't know in Delhi. He may be up something, maybe up in his sleeves for another move at the national level, another Bangalore, another whatever. I can't say what. But in JNK, considerable damage has been done. And DPAP, I don't one or two candidates who are contesting the election on their own strength, they may be able to save their security. Otherwise, none of his candidates will be able to, if they survive, if they don't withdraw till the end.
So, finally, let me ask, you know, his parting with the Congress was on a very, very bitter note. And his, as you said, his present looks murky. His present is murky, and his future looks bleak. Is this the end of the road for Ghulam Nabi Azad, the politician? Or, I mean, we, of course, we keep saying that never write off a politician, never write off, a senior political leader. And of course, Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, there's no doubt, is a very senior political leader. But looking at things today, is this the end of the road? Is there a possibility of him returning to the Congress after the way in which he parted with the Congress? Or, given the situation he finds himself in today, if he wants to move to the BJP, would he be welcome in the BJP? What, in your view, looks like his, I mean, as I said, he's 75 years of age. He's been claiming that he's unwell. What is his future now in JNK politics? Or, if he wants to move back to national politics, then national politics.
See, everything is possible in politics. As the proverbial saying goes, nothing can be. But as you said, DPAP, his party's future in JNK, I don't see any future for him there. And number two, I don't see any electoral future for Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad. As it is, he has contested very few elections in his life. But now, electorally, either running a party or himself contesting an election, I don't see any chance for that because he has his own reasons also. Age is no bar in politics. You must have seen the
Right.
visuals, or I can send you if you haven't seen Mr. Devegoda at the age of
Yeah.
95 climbing the stairs of Shankaracharya Hill.
Yeah.
So age is no bar in politics. It's a spirit. Whether Mr. Azad shows that spirit or not, I don't know. Which I couldn't find during my limited interactions with him or whatever his close aides were telling. That spirit was not there in him during the last 2 years. So somehow that is why mystery and doubts were created. So now what next he can do? I don't see him any. If a regional party has failed, he won't be able to set up any national forum. Yes, in another ways, whether he returns to the Congress or not, I have my doubts because Congress also, I can share it, I disclose it here. In Congress, his re-entry had been cleared at the level of till the level of or at the level of Congress President Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. But beyond that, it stopped. I know it from
Right.
the horse's mouth because clearance has to be where it means.
Yeah.
It was Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. So Mr. Rahul Gandhi, till the time Mr. Rahul Gandhi is inclined to allow his re-entry, I personally don't see any. And now, what is his use in Congress for Mr. Rahul Gandhi? Now he has burnt his fences. He had whatever little damage or more damage he could do or he has done has been done. Now Rahul Gandhi is in the process of establishing a new world in Congress, a new team or whatever you may call it. So I don't see. Yes, he can come unconditionally. If he says some people say I want to die wrapped in a Congress flag or I want to die as a congressman. Those arguments can work and he can rejoin.
He
But
did. He
I
did have an interest in. He did have an interest in launching his son as a politician, if I'm not wrong. But it
yes.
seems as of now, even that isn't happening. I mean, even his son isn't
Uh,
contesting on his own party's ticket.
this is very interesting, I tell you. The sons of
Yeah.
two leading leaders of JNK, normally the sons are very eager to come, or the families prevail upon them. The sons of two leading political lights of JNK, Ghulam Nabi Azad and Mufti Muhammad Sayyid, they
Yeah.
refused to come to politics. They were reluctant. After Mufti Saab's death, due to some family compulsions, Tasaduk came back. He was made MLC also. He's a filmmaker. I think he's
Yeah.
based in Bangalore. But he went back. He didn't like it. He couldn't survive. Saddam was also pitched into the campaign or those days when DPAP was trying to establish itself. He tried to, maybe he forced him, or he must have said, "Come and support your father here in this struggle." So he came, but he didn't play any role. First time he shared the stage with Ghulam Nabi Azad in one of the rallies in Kashmir, he didn't deliver a speech, or perhaps he couldn't. Mr. Azad has to do whatever he has to do on his own. I don't think Saddam is either interested or is willing to come out and slog in Jammu and Kashmir. He did bring him there. He did. It did create a buzz. It did create a buzz that next dynasty of Azad has come here. So party will he will run the party. But it didn't happen. And both Saduk and Saddam were not interested in politics.